Hey, YouTube family. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be. Welcome to Happy Crappy Hour. This is our live stream, our weekly live stream, where we're going to talk about a lesson every week, but also to catch up on how our week is going and what's happening in our lives. I want to be able to answer some questions, and it's just a really good community for us to reconnect and stay in touch with one another and just help each other through some things. So today I wanted to say what my happies and crappies are this week. So my happy is that I am coming upon my first year of creating this channel. Yeah, I find this is my 1 year mark. Just about this time, I can't remember. It was sometime in August last year that I started this channel. So yeah, I'm at this point and I'm thinking, what, do I want to do with this channel at this point? Will we continue these live streams? And I'm thinking, yes, I want to continue to do these live streams because I think it's really important to continue this community, to keep us connected and have a place for people to go every week where they can get questions answered and where we can reconnect with people they've met across all these channels. Actually, I kind of noticed that these live streams in different channels, some of the same people will come to the live streams to reconnect with each other. And I think that's a really great thing. So my happy is that, I've hit this 1 year mark on my channel and I'm going to continue doing the live streams. So welcome. And I hope I hope that this continues to be a good place and a safe place for you to come to. So I'm going to let you guys hop on. And while you're doing that, I think let me see, what is my crappy this week? Let me see what, I hate to think about crappies, right? Oh, okay. My crappy this week has been that, you know, I've been kind of struggling, not kind of, I've been struggling with the fact that my past habits or the way I think of things, sometimes it's negative about myself, sometimes it's destructive to me. These thoughts, they come back and I'm thinking, why hadn't I already dealt with that? And why am I still struggling with this? And it doesn't seem to matter how old you get. And how many years have passed by. If there is something that had become a habit in your life or had been a part of your life for so long, a certain kind of abuse, or especially with toxic people and narcissists, that kind of abuse that's just long term, is so repetitive that it drills into you this habit of unhealthy thinking, unhealthy behavior, even in yourself, right? So I did have to deal with that this week. And the thought was, I'm feeling, I want to say depressed. Yeah, kind of down. And I'm thinking, I'm becoming harsh on myself. Hey, Tevia, good to see you. Or TV, good to see you. I'm glad that you guys are hopping on. I'm just sharing with you what my crappy this week was. And it was that I fell back into this habit of negative thinking about myself. And I thought I'd already dealt with this so many times. And there have been a lot of times where I feel really strong. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'm confident. I feel good about myself. I'm on the mend. I'm not just on the mend, I'm actually growing and getting stronger. So why is it sometimes we still backslide, right? And that's what happened to me this week. I did a bit of a backslide, and not that it affected anything, I think, in a huge way, but it did steal the wind. It did rob me of motivation. And yeah, so anyway, I really had to, remind myself that, look, I've healed and this is no longer a part of me. And, I came across a comment recently too, last week, from a viewer who said that, I can't remember how old she said she was, and it might have been a man. I can't remember if it was a man or a woman. Couldn't tell by their name. They said that they are 54 years old and could not let go of their mother, or maybe they were 40 something. I can't remember how old, but a bit older. And they, as old as they are, either they were in their 40s or 50s, they could not let go of their mother, their narcissistic mother. And that happens to us, we don't let go for many reasons. And even if we don't have them in our lives anymore, and I know people whose parent have passed away, their parents have passed away, and they are still under the spell, that narcissistic abuse spell. They just can't get out from under it. So I want to let you know, this is normal. We will go through backslides, but don't get scared. Don't run away. Don't be afraid that you're not going to recover. You're going to recover. And what you have to do is remind yourself in those moments, that is not me anymore. That person does not have control over me anymore. That is not my habit anymore. Sometimes I go back to it because it's familiar. Sometimes you go back to negative thinking or self-deprecation, just beating yourself up because you've been so used to doing that. Anyway, that was my crappy. But today's topic, you guys, is going to be about the 3 ways that we unknowingly or kind of subtly comes upon us and we become enablers to the narcissist. Yeah. So how does that happen, and what does it look like when we're an enabler or other people? We can even see, it's kind of easier to see when you're see other people doing this than when you to catch yourself doing this. But the reason I want to talk about it is because I want to stop us or prevent us from becoming enablers to toxic or narcissistic people. So let me see here. Oh, good to see you guys hopping on. Holographic Multiverse, good to see you. Says, best treat waking up is your show. Oh, yay. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you feel that way. And TV says, no contact with narcissistic parents for 16 years now. Yeah. And it gets easier, she says. Yeah. Because, yeah, it does get easier. You do feel stronger. But even, I know people who haven't had contact with their parents or their parents have passed away, like I was saying, and yet they revert back as if they were still that child. I know a woman who is, I want to say she's in her 60s, so 60, okay, you guys? So, and her mother still has a hold on this woman. Her mother's deceased, but the trauma, the abuse, the degradation when she was being raised by her mom, her narcissistic, abusive mom, it still lingers with her. It lingers into her self-esteem, She has good days, but she seems, and I think she's finally getting more positive reinforcement in her life now. This is the great thing. I've been reading Safe People, and I've mentioned this book before, and I put it down for a while, and I picked it back up just recently. Safe People by Cloud and Townsend, Henry Cloud and John Townsend. They wrote about how we need to surround ourselves with safe people. But what do safe people look like? So that's what the book explores. What do safe people look like, and what do unsafe people look like? I did a Happy Crappy Hour a few weeks ago called the 9, I think it was like 9 characteristics of unsafe people. I would really highly recommend you watch that because it'll help you identify what is unsafe. And once you identify what's unsafe, you'll notice what is safe is usually the opposite of what the unsafe person does. Anyway, so the friend of mine who is still going through this trauma, it's, even though she's in her 60s, there are times she feels like she's a child. There are times that she still feels like she's under her mother's thumb, and her mother is not even alive anymore. So on channels like this and on this live stream, this is why I want to keep doing this, because I want to help you guys not revert back or stay back there. We're going to backslide sometimes, and that is normal, you guys. It's okay. Don't get mad at yourself for doing that, or don't get so discouraged that you did that, right? That you backslid. Oh my gosh, you guys, there's a hummingbird over here. So cute. Okay. But I want you guys to have this place where when you're feeling like you're backsliding, we're going to be your safe people. It's so important, as Cloud and Townsend said, to in order for us to stay healthy and strong-minded, strong physically, strong emotionally and psychologically, spiritually, is by surrounding ourselves with safe people. We need to have enough safe people in our lives to come alongside us, to share life with us, to lift us up when we're feeling down, and to encourage us to focus towards the good instead of staying stuck in the bad. All right, you guys? So this is what I'm hoping for. Good to see you guys hopping on. Jihad, good morning. So awesome. And TV says enabling is giving too much emotion. Oh, yeah. Yep. Mike, hi, good to see you. And holographic says, I went no contact, then I went low contact. But once they realize they get nothing out of you and you are kind but don't react, they themselves will leave you be. Exactly. Absolutely correct. I agree with you 100%. That's what I have also experienced with narcissists. They will either leave you entirely alone, like they won't even want anything to do with you because they're mad that they don't get, you're not enabling them anymore, right? They're mad that they're not getting the supply from you anymore. And by the way, you know, when we think of enablers, we think of flying monkeys, right? We think of these flying monkeys who are just horrible people. But some of the flying monkeys, if not a lot of them, I think a lot of flying monkeys don't realize that they're being used to enable the narcissist. And sometimes we become the flying monkey because we enable the narcissist unwillingly or unknowingly. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about today. Mike says, escape your channel helps. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you for saying that. I want this to be a place for you guys to come each week and be heard, share what you're, if you have struggles, so we can help you through that or help you see the truth. Because sometimes that's another thing about safe people. If you have safe people in your life, they help you to see the truth instead of focusing on the lies in your life. So yeah. Shortchanged. Good morning. Good to see you here. Holographic says, narcs need money more than anything. When you don't give them money, they scatter. TV says they need attention too. Yep. Sounds like the narcs I know, Mike says. Yeah. Well, let me dive into this. The lesson today is 3 ways people enable the narc. And the first way, or how we kind of become enablers, unwitting enablers, of course, right? First of all, you have to know that normal people or good people are people who, what makes you good is you have a sense of morality. You have a sense of wanting to help. You have a sense of empathy, right? You care about people. You care about helping those who are downtrodden, right? And I don't think it's just in America. I think it's in a lot of the world. You look at the underdog and you feel bad for the underdog. You want to help the underdog. But so point number 1 is the narc plays victim, okay? And when the narc plays victim, it speaks to the part of us that wants to help, right? It speaks to the part of us that wants to protect, the part of us that wants to make things better for them, right? So when they play the victim, we feel sorry. That's our empathy coming in. We feel sorry for the narc. We don't just immediately assume the narc is lying to us. We don't immediately assume that the narcissist is the abuser. We want to hear people out. We want to hear both sides. We want to protect the person that we think is being harmed the most. And of course, the narcissist is going to act as if they are being harmed the most. Okay, you guys? So what we end up doing is we protect the narcissist and we go along with them as they blame others. And we take the narcissist's side. We don't question the narcissist because we think, oh, they're feeling down, they're injured. And, it won't help them if we question them. It won't help them if we ask them, are you sure? And is this really happening? And I understand that, with friends, you do want to hear your friends out. You want to tell your friends, encourage your friends. But here's the deal. When you enable the narcissist or you enable people who are lying to you, people who are toxic and want to turn you against their victim. They will come out and act as if they themselves are the victim, being victimized by their victim, right? They're abusing the person in their life, their partner or someone, and they'll tell you that their partner is abusing them. And you right away want to protect them. And I've seen this happen too. This is so crazy where a wife will talk trash about her husband, total trash, he just disregards me. He doesn't even listen to me. He doesn't care about me. He forgot this about, forgot my birthday. And, I tried to talk to him, but he was too busy watching TV. I don't know. They just talk trash to their girlfriends about their husband. Then their girlfriends, when they're around the husband, treat the husband like crap. Yeah, they look down at the husband. They're not nice to the husband. They're just mean, just downright rude or cold towards their friend's husband, because they hear all this bad stuff about the husband and they take their friend's side, not knowing that their friend had been nagging and complaining and yelling and throwing fits towards the husband, right? And the husband doesn't know what to do with that. So they think, instead of getting into a fight with your narcissistic friend, they're just going to stay silent. They're trying to be quiet because they don't want to explode. And your narcissist friend is telling you how they're being ignored or abandoned or neglected. And you think, what a cold-hearted jerk, right? So the narcissist plays victim, and then you take sides. Be very careful of that. Also, you kind of know too, by watching your friend, things don't quite add up. She's a complainer. She doesn't, she's not the nicest to her husband, even though if you listen to how she describes it, she's an angel to her husband. But there's no one that perfect towards their spouse, so you have to get plugged back into reality. You have to look at your narcissistic friend through the lens of truth, and and sprinkle in, okay, maybe some of what she's saying is true, but what is it, is she doing anything that causes this? Is she not giving me really the full story? So one of the ways we do enable a narcissist is by cheering them on and telling them, yes, you're the victim, and we're here, we're going to support you, and we're going to be mean to everybody that you tell us to be mean to. And you guys, I want to tell you this: hate does not solve anything. So, it doesn't solve anything to be mean towards the husband. It doesn't solve anything to be mean towards the people that the narcissist hates. Hating, spreading hate is not the solution. And you then become an enabler of their hateful ways. All right. So that was number one. The narc plays the victim. We fall into this trap. We want to protect them, and we take their side without question. Number two. Oh, hold on, you guys. There are some comments in here, so I want to see if you guys are commenting about number one. Mike says, or if you don't buy them things like you used to, every time I bought my ex's kids things or gave them stuff, they only wanted more and didn't appreciate anything I did for them. Yeah, that does happen. This is the enabling we're talking about. Even if you take their side, they're like, yeah, it just fuels them, gives them fuel. But they don't care. They don't appreciate you. You're just another soldier or another pawn in their collection. So they're not going to have your back. They just want you to have their back. You guys, they are very ungrateful people. Jihad says, I'm sorry, Mike, let me finish his thought here, says, so they end up stealing from my place. Crazy things they do, especially their enablers. Yeah. Jihad says, one thing about going through narcissistic abuse, you learn a lot and are able to help others that are going through that. I have a friend that is going through it, and I'm helping him through all of it. Is it? Yes. Kudos to you, Jihad. I think that is awesome. I think that is the, making good out of something bad. And not only making it good out of, making something good out of something bad, you're right. We become stronger. We learn from this. So when you learn and you become stronger, you can become then the strength or for somebody else, right? You can bring strength to somebody else who's going through the same thing you just went through. Tiff, good to see you. Tiff says 3 a.m. New Zealand time. Oh, good morning, everyone. Oh, I'm so glad you're on. So sorry about this time. I'm thinking about doing another live stream, so maybe possibly 2 live streams a week so that I can catch people at different times. But I don't want you guys to miss out on connecting with each other. So we'll see. We'll see. TV says, saying hi to everybody. Mike, it says, if you question them, they get violent. Yes. And this is how you know also, nobody wants to be questioned, right? You just want people to take your side with no questions, be completely loyal to you and help you, right? And in my description, I talked about the things that drive us, like normal people, is wanting to be helpful and loyalty. Well, the narcissist will use these 2 things to make you into their enabler. They want complete loyalty from you with no question. And let me explain something. Loyalty doesn't mean without any question, by the way. Loyalty is, even when they mess up, or even when, not the narcissist, right? Even when you have people in your life and everybody makes mistakes, all right? So someone hurts you, didn't mean to hurt you, or they forgot about meeting you at the movie theaters one time, they make mistakes. Now, or also they may have told you their version of things. This is normal. It's not all narcissists, have their own version. We all do, right? We all have our own perspective of what happened in our disagreements or whatever. So say a good friend of yours gives you this wrong, gives you their perspective, which then comes out to show, they kind of got it wrong. They didn't take responsibility for their part. Well, here's the deal. They grow, they mature, they then take responsibility. Loyalty is that you stick by your friend as they grow. You accept that, they made a mistake, or they, at the time they were so wounded, they just couldn't see the truth. Loyalty is sticking by your friend during those times, not taking your friend's side to hate on the person and not question what happened, but loyalty actually, a real loyal friend would actually want to help you get stronger, would want to help you see the truth. So sometimes people think loyalty means you take their side no matter what, even when they're completely wrong. And that's not loyalty, you guys. I guess that's blind loyalty, which is how we then turn loyalty into something bad when it should be something good. So let me see. Holographic says, yep, it happened in a live last night. This girl was bashing her toxic boyfriend. Everyone increasingly became frustrated because she wouldn't agree to leave him. I blocked her. She is toxic too. Oh my goodness. TV says they get violent when you say no. Mike says exactly. Holographic says you enable by staying around them. Normal. Mike says, I want to leave but can't afford to. Yeah. If you can't afford to, you can still implement boundaries, healthy boundaries that won't continue to enable the narcissist. So there are times when you're going to be caught and you cannot leave. And there are times, especially if the narcissist is a family member, and in the situation like what you're saying, Mike, where financially you just can't leave right now. So even though you're trying to keep the peace, you need to also come up with strategies to protect yourself and boundaries to keep the narcissist from feeding off of you. Okay. So this is why I really highly recommend the boundaries books. And as you read the boundaries books, you're going to see yourself in some of the situations they describe. One of the things I really like about the boundaries books by Cloud and Townsend is that they give you examples, because they're both psychologists. So they give you examples from their own clients' lives. So Yeah, it really helps. Mike says, but I do try to go no contact as much as possible. Yeah. Well, Tiff says, yes, I am learning this. Hate is not the solution. I actually am supporting my ex and his new supply, but he is being a jerk even more. I don't know what this is. I'm not sure what you mean by supporting. Are you just, wishing them well and not saying mean things about them and telling people like, oh, good for them. I hope things work out. If that's the kind of supporting you're saying, that's okay. Keep doing that. You know what? Um, you get stronger the more you do the right thing. You get stronger the more positive you remain. If you don't put out there hatred and anger and resentment, you're not going to receive it back. I mean, they're going to try to put it on you, but you get so strong that it just kind of slides off of you. And you realize the stronger you get, the more their frustration and anger and their resentment towards you just slides off. You can't change them. You can't change their behavior towards you, but you can get stronger in a positive, surrounding yourself with positive people, with safe people. You get stronger by putting out good things and not hatred. Yeah. So let me go down here, you guys. People are talking about gray rock. Yeah, that happens. Like, you just don't feed them your emotions. That's what gray rock is. You don't get into an emotional argument with them. You don't get into any argument with them. Whatever they say, you just, act like you're a wall, like you're a gray rock, and it just slides off of you. And that makes them crazy, but you don't need to give into it. All right, you guys, let me come down a little bit and see. Whoa, gee, how did North Carolina get so expensive? Mike says, we're at most of the homes I live nearby in North Carolina are like 600,000 or 800,000 or more. Oh, $600 or $800 a month or more. They tax us like crazy in the Carolinas. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, and TV says, I went to refuge with 2 children. Tiff says, I am currently being hoovered and closed my Facebook down, but now been found in other narc abuse channels on YouTube. Oh yeah, this is, Tiff, I do recommend people change the name of their handle on YouTube so you can go incognito that way and they won't know it's you. Yeah. Is this still narc rage? I see. Yeah. Is this still narc rage? It's been nearly a year since breakup. Yeah, if you're being hoovered, if you're being stalked in this way, and they look up your name and they want to see if you're talking on these channels and stuff, and they want to know if you're talking about them. Yeah, they're obsessed. They're obsessed with what others think of them. And especially since they had been close to you, they're obsessed if you're talking about them. Part of it is it feeds their ego, part of it is they know they still affect you. So you're talking about them and they want to know that you're talking about them, that they still affect you, and it enables them to, it just feeds them, it fuels them. And you don't want to do that. All right, you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys have said a lot of stuff. Okay, Mike says, am I a bad person or something? I know I am not nowhere near perfect, but I want to stay healthy, not get anxiety so much. Oh my gosh, you guys. Let me get a drink of water here. That is a big part of my lesson today. That not enabling, if you don't enable a narcissist, if you don't enable even a non-narcissist, if you decide not to enable people in their bad behavior, that's not being mean. That's one of the biggest lies. And I wanted to come back to after I tell you my 3 points about that. The big illusion or the big lie to us is that we're being mean for not giving into a narcissist, a toxic person, or anybody who's doing something bad. And they want us to join them. They call us, they tell us we're not being loyal, a loyal friend. They're telling us that we're being mean because we're questioning, they get mad because we're not enabling their bad behavior. So of course we're the mean ones, and don't fall for that. It's not mean to stop enabling a narcissist. It's actually, I think it's mean to enable them. And I'll explain that later. Okay, point number two. Point number one is the narc plays victim, and we get into that, and we want to protect them. We want to be loyal to them. We don't question anything, so we enable that. We enable them to continue to be the victim rather than helping them to see that there may be two sides to the story. Maybe they're seeing it incorrectly. So if you're a really good friend, you would actually help your friend to see truth rather than living in their lie, right? The lie that they're always the victim. Number two is you are not responsible. Oh, I'm sorry. They want to, it's about responsibility. How do I word this? They want to blame or not take responsibility. And you enable them by not making them take responsibility. You enable them by not letting them or forcing them or encouraging them to take responsibility. Not that you force anybody to do anything, but when you don't put up with their shenanigans, they have to start taking responsibility. So what that looks like is when they blame other people, right? When they're being the victim, or when they blame their addictions. This is just the way I am, or their own personality, right? This is just me. This is how I was raised. This is how I am. And you just have to accept me the way I am. I blow up at you and I have an anger issue. Guess what? Anger issues can be resolved. They can be fixed. Yeah, you just need to get to the core of why people blow up, what the insecurity is there, why is it a trigger. But anyway, getting back to the narcissist not wanting to take responsibility, they will blame their addictions. Well, I'm not responsible, they'll say. I'm not responsible for what I do while I'm drunk. Actually, they are responsible for what they do while they're drunk. You guys, we will accept these lame, evasions, I guess, of responsibility because we care about the narcissist and we're like, oh, we're trying to be empathic. We're trying to see yeah, I can see that while you're drunk, you're not really, aware and making good choices. Well, here's the deal. Don't get that drunk that you don't make good decisions. If you know that, if the narcissist knows that this is their pattern, then they have a choice to get that drunk or not. All right. So there have been so many times where people would be like, oh, well, I cheated on you because I was drunk and it wasn't my fault. And I didn't expect, that while I was drunk, this person was going to come on to me. I mean, I can't be expected to make good decisions while I'm drunk. You guys, we enable them by accepting these lame excuses. Oh, don't do that. Don't accept these lame excuses. Tell them, no, guess what? You're still responsible when you're angry. You're still responsible in your rage if you hurt somebody, if you strike out at somebody. So we want to say, well, in the midst of being so angry, it's okay. Is it okay then for you to beat up a child? Because you're so angry, you couldn't control your anger, you're going to beat up a child? No, that's ridiculous, right? You wouldn't accept that. So why would we accept them, their excuses, when they say they were just so full of rage and the other person just got in their way, so they had to hit them, or they're just not responsible? No, we don't accept that. He's like, well, then if you have this kind of a rage issue that comes out into violence, that results in violence, then you need help. And narcissists will not get help for this, so long as people enable them to believe that these are valid excuses. Stop accepting their excuses for why they don't have to take responsibility. So that's number two. We have to stop accepting their excuses and tell them, no, actually, you're still responsible. Well, it's not my fault that I can't get somewhere on time. It's not my fault that I can't wake up in the morning. All right, unless they have severe insomnia, which, by the way, again, they can get help for. Unless they're, and here's the thing. There are things to help insomnia that helps you fall asleep at night. And if they're not willing to do those things, they're responsible. They're responsible. for showing up to work on time. And by the way, in the real world, with real people who are not emotionally attached to the narcissist, these excuses do not pass, right? They just are not accepted. People get fired over things like this because you know what? Your boss is not going to put up with you showing up halfway through the day. So anyway, you guys, don't take the responsibility off of the narcissist. Okay. So we tend to enable narcissists and we don't even realize we're doing it because we want to be forgiving. We want to be empathic. We want to be understanding. So we want to, and when the narcissist thinks, oh, they feel so sorry for me, this is good because they like that, right? They want you to feel sorry for them. Then they're going to continue to use these excuses instead of taking responsibility. So let me see if you guys have any comments about that. Point number 2. I'm going to skip down here to, I'm not sure. Let me see where, okay. Let me see where these are. Mike says the narcs and flying monkeys and enablers are obsessed with me. Oh man. Yeah. Mike says, I believe they're ego driven too. Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. Holographic says, I'm a doctor in town. Everyone stalks me or is my fan or needs my help. You have to just let them do what they need to do. Just live your best life now. Yeah. You know what? You cannot control what the other person does. You can only control what you do. So the more you understand yourself, the more you see the truth, the more you know about good things to do and bad things to avoid, such as enabling, right? Once you recognize what enabling looks like, you can stop doing that. You can control that part of you. So I just wanted to let you know that. Let me see. Holographic says, Mike, go within, go deep. Try to see how you are hurting yourself. Once you analyze and treat your own hurts, nobody can hurt you. Ah, that's good. Yes, right. Not that, we believe that we have to build this wall over us and we can't, to protect ourselves. Like we need to build walls in order to protect ourselves. That's not true. It's not that we need to build walls because then we keep out safe people. We keep out the people who help make us strong. We don't want to do that. What we need to do is we focus on the truth. We heal what's deeply inside of us. Like, when I was talking about the rage, if a person has a rage issue that turns into violence, they need to go deep and figure out where that rage comes from, what sparks that rage. And a lot of time rage comes from injury, comes from low self-esteem. And once you build up a higher self-esteem, you start to realize you're not so easily offended. You don't take things personally, and that rage just kind of melts. You no longer have rage anymore because you feel secure. You don't get injured by people's words or actions or inactions. You just don't interpret what they do as a reflection of who you are anymore. So yes, I agree with what you guys are saying. It's so good. So you guys, number 3 on how we become an enabler. So let me see, is that we don't allow the narcissist to reap the consequences of their actions. We come in, we swoop in, and we bail them out. We swoop in and we rescue them. Yes, that's how you enable. There are times you need to rescue someone who's in in danger, okay? I understand that. You got to rescue someone who's in danger, in imminent danger. But the narcissist, most of the time, is not in imminent danger. They made a bunch of bad decisions. They got into a lot of debt, and they can't pay their rent this month. They're going to ask you to pay their rent or give them some amount of money so that they can pay their rent. I'm sorry, there's a plane going overhead, and I just want to make sure you can hear me. Good night. What kind of plane is this? It looks like a personal type of plane, one of those little ones. So, yeah, if you're bailing them out continually, even a second and third time, you got to stop. I understand one time if you feel like it, okay, one time, but that's it. You know what? They should know after that one time that you are not their personal bank. You are not, your savings account is not their savings account. All right. They need to learn how to build up their own savings account. They need to learn how to save up for those rainy days and not go out to happy hours or spend money on things they don't need. All right. So we swoop in and we rescue them from the consequences of their actions. We pay their bills. We cover for them at work when they, oh, you have to help me. This deadline's coming up and I didn't get this done. Like, yeah, but you kind of notice like they stand around chatting with people all day and they're not getting their work done. And now they need you to help them get their work done. You have your own work to do. I understand once in a while or once helping them with that, but then they need to learn to sit down and get their work done. Or they took a 2-hour lunch when they know they should have taken a 1-hour lunch. Can you clock me back in? No. You know what? I really shouldn't because I don't want to get in trouble for myself. Like they don't care what trouble you might get into for covering for them. So that's the other thing to realize. We enable people and we think we're helping, but what we're doing is we're allowing them to continue their bad behavior. And because they have no consequence. If they don't reap the consequence, they're not going to learn from it. We also may cover for them when they're cheating on their spouse. Hey, can you tell my husband I was with you when whatever, Tuesday night? Can you tell my wife that that we were hanging out together, that I was over at your place? No. I understand like once I don't even understand why people do this when they're cheating. The narcissist convinces you this is the only time. I never meant to do this, but you got to cover for me. I love my wife. I don't want it to be over. This is a one-time thing. Well, it turns out it's a 2, 3, 4, it's a continual thing. So stop covering for the narcissist. Let them reap their own consequences. We think that we're coming in to rescue, but what we're doing is we're coming in and we're enabling their bad behavior. We're allowing their bad behavior to continue because there are no consequences to them. And as long as they can fool their victims by using you, right, to cover for them, to bail them out financially, so long as they can continue to victimize other people, they'll just keep doing it. There's no repercussion. You're there to take the fall for them, that you're there to take up the financial responsibility. That's yours. That's theirs. So you guys, that's number 3. Those are the 3 things that we do without realizing it. So let me cover that, go over those things again, just so we remember. The first thing is the narc plays the victim, and we want to protect and we want to take their side, and without any question we start to blame all the people in their life because they must be the victim, and so we start hating. We start spreading the hate that they want us to spread. Don't spread the hate. All right, don't spread hate. That's only going to make things worse for you, and it never comes back to you to make you feel good that you spread hate. Okay. So number 1 is they play the victim. They want to blame others and they want you on their side without any question. Don't do it. Now, if they're a true victim in a domestic abuse situation, help them get out of there. Like, oh my gosh, you got to get out of there. Let's get you to a shelter. Let's get you somewhere they don't know where you're going to be. Help them. But when they're the victim, as in, oh, this other person ignores me, this other person didn't, whatever, they just make up all kinds of stuff and they smear the other person. It's just a smearing. It has nothing to do with their personal safety. It's just them bashing another person. Just step back. Maybe they just need and it's hard to see the difference between a good friend who's just unloading and needs someone to talk to. That's fine. But then you help your friend work through that, and see how they can change the situation, how they can fix the situation. A narcissist is not interested in fixing the situation. They just want you on their side. That's it. They don't want to make things better. They don't want to resolve problems. They want you on their side. That's not great. Number two was we let them not take responsibility for, or they they shift responsibility onto other things like their addictions and make excuses, and we accept their excuses. Stop accepting their excuses. That's number two. Number three was we don't allow the narcissist to reap their consequences, right, of their actions. And here's the deal, you guys. Enabling is actually the mean thing to do. We think, oh, well, if we're helpful, if we bail them out, if we take their side, if we, they don't want any solution, so we just take their side and we spread hate, and we don't let them experience the consequences of their actions. Oh my gosh, if I don't pay his rent, he's going to be out on the street. Well, guess what? Maybe he needs to be out on the street. And actually, he's probably not going to be on the street. He's going to be on other people's couches until they can't deal with that anymore and they kick him off their couch. Well, guess what? That is what will get them to adjust their behavior. Now, if they're a normal person, not normal, if they're a person who's just behaving like a narcissist, when you stop enabling that person, they'll start changing their behavior. They'll start adjusting, okay? When they start feeling the pain of the consequences of their actions, they will adjust. And that is actually a good thing. That's actually a kind thing. It's more, I think it's mean to enable somebody. So they never learn how to stand on their own. They never are motivated to change their behavior. They stay this horrible narcissistic character, or they keep that characteristic because nobody required them to change. Nobody said, no, I won't accept your behavior. So they continue on. I think that's worse. I think that's worse to enable somebody to stay in this horrible character, be the terrible character that they are, and let them get away with it. It's worse to enable that. So, we think we're being helpful when we actually turn into an enabler. That's the problem here. And that's why I wanted to talk about that today. Don't enable. And you notice this too. It's so much easier to see it on other people when you watch other people enabling the narcissist. We call them the flying monkeys. Like, why does the flying monkey keep taking this narcissist back into their house? Every time they get thrown out by a girlfriend, another girl will keep taking him back. That's enabling, right? Because the other girl thinks, oh, I'm in love with him and he came back to me. And she thinks it's a good thing to help him. But all she's doing is enabling him to continue to go and use women over and over again, knowing that they always have this safety net. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. We need to stop thinking that that we're mean for not enabling, for not bailing them out, for standing, for preventing consequences to hit them. Oh, when we allow consequences to hurt them, people are like, oh, I can't believe how mean you were, that you wouldn't, you jeopardize their job by not, what do you call that? Checking their time card or signing them in when they were late. No, you're not the one being mean. They're the ones being irresponsible. You understand? Yeah. People will try to, pin that label on those who are just actually being more helpful to the narcissist or to a person who's just behaving like a narcissist. Oh, like I was saying, if they're just behaving like a narcissist, because by the way, narcissistic characteristics are learned. When we're surrounded by it, when we've been raised by it, we may pick up those characteristics, right? Like those behaviors, because we've been around a narcissist so long. But when we're held to the fire, when we're made to be responsible for our own actions, we tend to change our behavior away from being a narcissist to becoming a responsible, caring, socially adept, socially responsible and kind person. Because we realize it doesn't work otherwise. Other people, good people, won't accept this bad behavior. So I'm going to stop this bad behavior. Now, if they're a real narcissist, they're going to continue to do whatever they're going to continue to do. They're just going to, they don't care that you stopped enabling them. They don't care that they do care that you stop giving them money. But what that means is they just leave you alone now. They jump from you to somebody else who will enable them. They're, once they see that they're not getting this enabling behavior from you anymore, then they're going to jump ship. They're going to go somewhere else and try to get it there. So you guys, it's not mean to stop enabling bad behavior. It's actually kind, because what happens is you can help somebody who may just have narcissistic behavior. Like they're not a real narcissist, but they behave like one because it always had worked, right? No one ever stopped them. And I look at generally parents who allow their adult kids to behave so badly within the house and they don't kick the kid out. Not that it's a kid anymore, it's an adult, right? The person's an adult now, but they don't expect their adult child to stand on their own feet. So the adult child does not stand on their own feet. They'll slum around the house. They refuse to buy their own car insurance, or even their own car. They refuse to get a job where they can buy even a used car for $1,000, $2,000. And they refuse because they're like, oh, that's a lot of money. I can't afford that kind of. Well, yeah, you can't afford it right now, but in a month or two, you should be able to afford it if you're working and paying $100, $200 a month for rent. That's nothing. So you should be able to afford your own car. And instead, they'll use their parents' car and they'll wreck their parents' car and they'll stay on their parents' insurance. It's like, no, and that drives up their parents' premiums. Anyway, you guys, it's just if you enable a narcissist or a person who behaves like a narcissist, they're not going to change their behavior. And that is worse. That's worse for the person. And so if you're questioning yourself, oh, I feel like I'm being mean if I don't help them, if I don't bail them out, if I don't cover for them, if I don't lie to their wife that they were with me, I'm being mean. No, you're not being mean. You're requiring them to be responsible. And if they learn to be responsible, then their life is going to be better, right? So you guys, I got through all my points really well today, and we didn't go over. So this is great. We have time to go back to the comments and see how you guys are doing. Gamer Christina, good to see you. So glad that you're here. See, Mike says, I also called my narc parent the same name, same reaction. They love getting passive aggressive with you. Oh, okay, I must have missed something here. Oh, TV says I rescued too much. Yeah, we do, right? If you're a good person, you're thinking you're on rescue mode pretty much all the time because you want to help people. But be careful you don't become an enabler. Now, rescuing means helping someone who's in imminent danger, all right? They don't need to be rescued from the consequences that they caused, all right? They don't need to be rescued from their own actions. They need to take responsibility for their actions. And that's how they rescue themselves the next time around, by not showing up late at work. If they get fired for continually showing up late at one job, guess what? The next time they're going to learn, oh my gosh, I really have to work on getting there on time. So there was a consequence. Yeah. So if they have consequences, they're going to adjust their behavior. If they have no consequence, no need to adjust the behavior then, right? Oh, here you go. Mike says, if you call the narcs drama queens, they get super pissed. Well, you know what? We don't need to call people names, but anybody you call a drama queen would be pissed, I would think. I don't know. Or at least not happy. If someone called me a drama queen, actually, because I know myself, it wouldn't even land on me. I'd be like, okay, then obviously you don't know who I am. So I guess that's possible. When you become more and more healthy minded, these insults that people do try to attack you with, you know who you are. It just doesn't land. It just won't land. Now, a narcissist, yeah, you're right, or an insecure person. And there are a lot of people out there who are insecure who are not narcissists. If you call them a name, they will get pissed. They will get hurt. And like I said, anger a lot of times comes from a place of woundedness, from injury, right? And injury a lot of times comes from being easily offended. And when you're easily offended, it's because a lot of times you are insecure about who you are. So if you're secure about who you are and someone's being a jerk towards you, it just doesn't offend you because you're like, oh, that speaks about them. It doesn't speak about me. Their behavior, their name calling, their whatever way they're behaving towards you that's negative, that's on them. That's not on you. Yeah. So I guess that's what Mike is working on. Okay, Tiff says, self-esteem was low at a point for a little while, but I bounced back fairly quickly. It's not me at my core, and then the flying monkey abuse became worse. Also, Narc smear campaign got worse. And it, you know what, like I said, sadly enough, we cannot stop them from doing these things. We can't control what another person does. So we can't control the narcissist, and we can't control their flying monkeys. We can only control what's in front of us and what we're responsible for. So, yeah, the more secure you become, even their attacks don't land. They just don't, because you know who you are. And the more self-esteem you get from becoming stronger, you're not going to react. You're just not going to crumble. You're not going to fold in because they want to attack. They can attack. It doesn't matter. I mean, unless they're doing it physically. If they're doing it physically, boy, you know what? You call the cops, you get them there. But if they're just, playing games and they're smearing or whatever, it's like, let them smear. Let them create this really horrible, crazy, awful world. Like I said, when you spread hate, it doesn't come back to you in a good way. If they're spreading hate, just let them do their thing. You can't stop that. It's going to come back to them in a really horrible way. But you don't, just don't get caught up in that yourself. Don't spread the hate. You guys, okay, let me see what else you're saying here. Holographic says, one ex needed money for rent. I said, how much? $500. I set him up with 3 people to do work for $500. When he got his money, he still didn't pay it. Arguing with landlord, probably drugs. Yeah. Oh, this is in DC. But yeah, that's the thing. You did help, right? You got them a job. Actually, that's not enabling. That was being helpful in a way that's not enabling. Like, oh, they need money? Hey, I can help you get a job. So you help them get a job, you get them in a situation where they can earn the money. They earn the money. Now it's their responsibility to pay the debt, right? To pay their bill. And if they don't pay it, that's still on them. And the people they worked for can hire them again, maybe not hire them again. You did not come in and rescue them in a way that took all consequences away from them. That person still had to do work to earn the money. So that's good, you're teaching them responsibility. Well, TV says the TV credit card maxed out too. Yes. Definitely, Mike says, definitely does holographic or something else just as worse. Oh, okay. Tiff says, but looking and feeling better, cooking my family good food, exercising, been asked out a few times, woohoo, in the last 2 weeks. Seriously, told them I'm vibrant, but don't even realize this. Oh, but didn't even realize this. So Tiff is saying, let me see if I understand. Well, this is great, though, that you're changing for yourself, making yourself stronger, healthier, happier. You are doing a lot of really good things, and your family is benefiting. Isn't that awesome? I really love that. Holographic says, my policy to living, be pleasant and professional. Yes, I like that. Maybe narcs are right. Maybe I had my part in it. My bad. Moving on. It's not him. It's not me. It's simply over. Yeah, and there's a time to just simply let it go. Cannot keep beating yourself up over it, and there's no use in beating them up over it continually for the rest of your life. That's the not letting go part, I was talking about at the beginning about, you know, I know a woman who's in her 60s and she's still holding on to her mom, her mother's abuse, and she just can't get over it. And part of not getting over it is not forgiving the mom, for one, and not forgiving herself, right? So she has really, at times, very low self esteem. That means she's beating herself up. She's blaming herself for not being better. She doesn't like where she is. She doesn't like herself. And when you're like that, you're going to get stuck. You can't move on. So the best thing is, like, I like what you said, holographic, that you need to move on. You recognize your part in it, and then you move on. You forgive yourself. You have to do that. Jihad says, my ex told me her Wi-Fi and her phone service was off and couldn't do the call for the kids. So I don't know if that was her way of indirectly asking me to pay for her bills. Probably. Yeah, it probably is. Like, oh, that's terrible. Well, then she's going to have to figure out how to support herself to pay the Wi-Fi, or go someplace that has free Wi-Fi and she could do it there. You know what I mean? I think libraries have free Wi-Fi. I think McDonald's has free Wi-Fi. Starbucks has free Wi-Fi. She can go outside, or at a library. Usually they also have these conference rooms or smaller rooms that you can work individually and quietly, or privately. So she could go in there. So yeah, she has to figure it out for herself. So good on you for not going into becoming an enabler for her. Yeah. Mike says, sounds like another ex-girlfriend of mine. I had also Jihad. I cut her off ASAP. Yeah. Well, you guys, we are coming up on our hour. I'm going to read a few more of your comments, and I'm going to let you finish up your conversations and say goodbye to one another. Holographic says, Jihad, my reply, yeah, money is right for all of us nowadays. It's tight for all of us nowadays. Yeah, and it's not that you're being mean. You have to realize this. You don't have to do it in a mean way. You just acknowledge, like, wow, yeah, I feel your pain. I get it. And then they have to realize, oh, once they feel the pain enough, they're going to want to make changes. Yeah. But as long as they get other people to pay for them, they're not going to make any changes. TV says, thanks. I read your comment about refuge. Same here. Oh, Tiff says, though I was at fault, that's when I realized he was a narc. I think you meant, okay, refuge, or when you're rescuing somebody else. We got to be so careful when we play rescuer. There are times to rescue, but make sure you're not enabling, okay? Make sure that you're not standing in the way of someone learning a lesson they need to learn. Make sure you're not taking away consequences that actually could be teaching moments for them. When we do that, that's actually worse. That's more mean than enabling them. I'm sorry. That's more mean than not enabling them, right? When you're not enabling them, you're allowing them to learn from life. You're allowing them to learn from their own actions. You're allowing them to adjust their actions. When we don't have consequences to our actions, we don't adjust our actions. There's no need to. It continues. It's like when a river flows, a stream is flowing and nothing's in its way. It doesn't need to adjust, it just keeps flowing, right? But when a beaver comes along and starts putting, bricks, or not bricks, but rocks or pieces of wood, and starts damming it up, it starts to flow in a different way. So that's the same thing with narcissists and toxic people or irresponsible people. They may not even be narcissists or toxic people. They're just people like all of us. We start off immature. We have to grow. We learn from our mistakes, right? We learn when things become too painful for us. Then we adjust. Like, oh, okay, I got to swerve around this way. I can't keep going straight. If I keep going straight, I'm going to hit this wall. Yeah. So you guys, Mike says, another ex had wanted me to wire $5,000 to her. I was like, heck no. I do not have that type of money to send you. And even if you did, heck no, right? Tiff says, took accountability for my actions and paid my dues. Yep. But not accepting their issues. Yes. Too much drama, just waiting for custody to be finalized from his end. I think he's stalling, want to move on. Yeah, and you will be able to move on. You can't stop them from stalling. You have to be patient, be kind to yourself during those times. Take good care of yourself so that you're strong and you can be persistent. You don't have to, you won't be weakened just because they're stalling, because you're going to keep feeding yourself. You're going to keep nurturing yourself. You're going to keep eating good foods, exercising, wear something nice. You don't even have to pay a lot of money. I went to Goodwill, no, to the Ark. It's like Goodwill, if you guys don't know about it, with a friend of mine yesterday. Was it yesterday already? Yeah, it was yesterday morning. And we were picking out some clothes for a bike ride we're going to do. This is going to be so silly. So she invited me to do, she's a cyclist. So they're doing this, stopping at, I think, 4 different restaurants, getting appetizers and maybe a drink, and then riding to the next restaurant, et cetera, right? And it's called, they expect us to dress up in like, what did they call it? Cocktail dresses. And she said, "Oh, let's wear prom dresses or bridesmaid dresses." So we went to Goodwill to pick out some prom dresses. Oh my gosh, so crazy. So we each got some really outrageous, dresses that's going to look ridiculous, by the way, on bicycles as we ride from restaurant to restaurant. So I thought, so the point of me telling you about this is, wow, I found some really awesome things there for extremely little money, and not just the prom dresses, but like really nice shirts. So treat yourself is what I'm trying to say. Wear something nice, wear something that makes you feel good. Do things that feed your heart, feed your soul, feed your body, treat yourself to something good. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to do that. It's the point. Do that for yourself while the narcissist stalls, right? While the narcissist is still smearing you. Just focus on feeling good for yourself, helping yourself to feel good. So nurture yourself. You guys, I think you guys are awesome. I'm so glad that you came on here. Let me see. I may catch up on a couple more comments. Holographic says, remember, you are not their savior. Yes, they have to develop the free will to save themselves. Yes. I mean, unless they're paralyzed, they're having a stroke. I mean, I'm talking life-threatening, right? Unless they're about to be hit by a car, you don't need to jump in and rescue them. They need to adjust their behavior, their financial behavior. They need to adjust their social behavior. If they're still blaming, why they cheat on their wife because of alcohol, well, you know what? They need to stop drinking so much at the bars where when a girl hits on them, they hook up with the girl. Like, what the heck is that? You're still responsible, buddy. So I'm not going to cover for you with your wife. Let them reap those consequences. Yeah. So I'm so appreciative of your comments, Holographic. They are so on point today. Look at this. You are just, wow. You are on a roll. Holographic says, that's the goal with planetary clones. Only free will allow them to join the universe. Okay, I don't understand that part, but okay. But you know what? We all have free will, and we need to use that, and I agree with you. We need to adjust it too, right? Tiff says, yes, thank you for pointing out that we are able to help others. Yeah, we want, being helpful is great. You want to help people. If someone needs a meal because they just came out of the hospital, or they're sick, or they're getting their wisdom teeth out, and you want to drive them because they can't drive themselves, yeah, of course, help people. But don't swoop in and enable bad behavior. That's different. Someone wants you to cover their lie, bad behavior. Someone wants you to cover that they're cheating on their wife or husband, bad behavior. Someone wants you to pay their bill because every month they just don't they go out and they spend money on happy hour, or they're spending money on ridiculously expensive stuff and running up their credit cards, and they don't care about paying their rent. Bad behavior. You don't want to come in and enable their bad behavior. And it's not helpful to enable their bad behavior. It's helpful to them in that they think they can just lean on you all the time. But in the long run, it's really not helpful to them. It's actually, that's what's being mean, is you're not allowing them to learn to adjust their bad behavior. So, seeing TV, but they want us to be mean, so we need to not feed them their egos, that is. Oh, yeah, TV says, hard not to feel that you're being mean, though. Yeah, Tiff says, heck no, I'm not mean. And that's what I want you guys to realize. That is the big lie we believe, and we enable people. I've seen so many good, well-intentioned people who just want to help. But what they end up doing is they enable their loved ones to stay in a pit. I'm like, you guys, what you're doing is you're enabling this person, you're enabling your sibling, you're enabling your best friend to stay in a pit. Let them realize they're in a pit, and they will get themselves out. The more you keep feeding them while they're in that pit, the more they're just going to stay, because they've got their needs taken care of. So you guys, it's not being kind to enable. It's not being kind to quote unquote help in that way. You're not really helping. So the being mean is actually being an enabler. Helping sometimes is actually being mean. It's the opposite of what we think we're doing. We're trying to achieve, we're trying to help, we're trying to rescue. And yet what we end up doing is we keep them in this pit. And that, I think, is mean. That's what's mean. So you guys, let me see. I'm almost at the end of these. Oh, you look at that. I'm really caught up in almost all the comments. Holographic says, when your gut starts churning, it's a sign to stop. Take a breath, walk away, and don't respond. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have another video called Don't Get Back with the Narcissist. Trust your gut. Something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But yeah, trust your gut. If your gut, that's your body responding and trying to tell you you're in danger, or this is wrong, or it's trying to speak to you and let you know that you need to stop what's ahead, right? Prevent yourself from going into this disaster that's ahead. Your body knows, okay? So listen to your gut. I like that. See, Thomas, good to see you. Says, I'm a giver and my ex-narc knows this. He keeps calling for money for his car and rent, knowing I'll give in. But I finally said no. Yes. He doesn't give up though. No, they don't. And you'll start to feel, oh, I'm being mean if I don't listen, and if I don't give in, and if I don't help. You're not being mean. It is not mean to allow the narcissist to reap the consequences of their actions. If they did not plan ahead, if they were not being responsible for themselves, it's not mean for you to allow them to reap the consequences of their actions. It's not mean. So, yeah, TV says they don't give up easily. They don't. They will dog you to support them, to give to them. It's absolutely nuts. TV says free Wi-Fi on public transport. There you go. So earlier, somebody was saying that their ex was kind of throwing out a line about they couldn't speak with the kids or FaceTime with the kids or something like that because they didn't have Wi-Fi. Their service wasn't paid or something like that. No, you don't need to swoop in and pay their service. They can find free Wi-Fi. See, there's always a way. And then they become responsible. They start thinking, they start behaving better. They start building up their life. So there are a lot of people out there who are not narcissists, who are users though, right? Because they just never learned how to stand on their own. They never had to oh, why can't I think right now? They never had to reap the consequences of their actions. Yeah. See, Thomas says, I just stop enabling. Yay! So good, so good. You guys, well, I am so glad that you joined me today. Oh, Diva R, you're coming in a bit late. Good morning to you. I wonder if I should keep this a little longer than an hour. It's happy crappy hour, but I don't mind if we go, an hour and 15, an hour and 30 minutes into it, just so you guys get to talk and have more time with each other. Diva R says, sorry, I missed your live. We'll have to listen later. Yeah. The 3 points were good. I really liked what we talked about, but at the end, we want to realize that enabling is actually the main thing to do. Sometimes helping, quote unquote, you think you're helping, but what you're really doing is enabling. Yeah, you don't want to do that, because that's actually worse for everybody. It's worse for them, but it's bad for you too, because you're patting yourself on the back for helping, but you didn't really help. You made things worse. Now they're going to victimize somebody else because they're able to. Yeah. Yeah, Tiff says, yes to free will, loving that freedom much. Yep. I'm sorry, I'm just reading through some of these, and I think you guys are awesome. I think you guys get it. Definitely. I hope that today's talk helped you to see that you're not mean, help you to not take on guilt that's not yours. Don't do it, because guilt will drive you to do, I don't want to say bad things, but guilt will drive you to do the wrong things, right? Be strong, feed your heart, feed your soul, feed yourself, right? Your body. Forgive yourself, become a stronger person. You'll start to get better. You'll start to feel healthier. You're going to have better self-esteem. You're not going to fall for the attacks and the smear campaign. You're not going to be, it's going to suck, yeah, it sucks, but you're not going to be as affected by it. You'll be really surprised that even when people are trying to be mean to you, to your face, you're just going to be like, wow, they've got problems. You're not going to take it. You're not going to receive it. You're not going to store it into your own mind, right? You just kind of go, oh, interesting, they're crazy, and then you leave it. So you guys, so many blessings to you. God bless you. I hope you have a great week, and comment below. Let me know how things are going. Comment on my other videos. I do try at least one to two times a week, sometimes more. Go back and review comments from all of my videos and see, the ones that YouTube will notify me of, and I will respond to you. So blessings, have a great week, and I will see you again next week.